Hello Mzansi, I know we're all glued to the ad hoc committee and the Madlanga Commission right now, but there's other things happening in our country. So, South Africa's power giant, Eskom, has once again made headlines, but this time, not for load shedding. It's about money, accountability, and a multi-billion rand financial misstatement that's raised serious questions about transparency inside one of the country's most critical institutions.
When I think about Eskom, for me, the term which says when Eskom sneezes, South Africa catches a cold is something that I feel is actually quite appropriate.
According to Eskom's latest financial statements for the 2025 fiscal year, audited by Deloitte, the power utility received a qualified audit opinion. Now, in simple terms, that means the auditors found material errors or irregularities that prevent them from giving Eskom's books a clean bill of health. At the center of this mess is 16.3 billion rand, money Eskom claimed as savings from turnaround strategies. But Deloitte says, hold on. Not so fast. Out of that total, auditors found that 2.9 billion rand in reported savings was overstated, meaning Eskom claimed to have saved more than it actually did. Another 3.4 billion rand was also inflated because management used inappropriate estimates and judgments. And then there's 1.4 billion rand in supposed savings from contract negotiations and purchase orders, where Deloitte says there's simply no evidence the savings even happened. Add it all up and you get a staggering 7.7 billion rand in questionable figures. That's not pocket change. That's the kind of misstatement that could shake investor confidence and deepen public mistrust. Now, here's what this means for Eskom. A qualified audit opinion isn't the same as outright corruption, but it's a red flag. It tells the public and parliament that the financial statements can't be fully trusted in certain areas. For a state-owned enterprise already battling credibility issues, operational failures, and debt, this is a major setback. Eskom itself admits the problem: incomplete or inaccurately maintained records that don't meet legislative standards, particularly around irregular expenditure and losses due to criminal conduct. In other words, not all the books balance, and not all the rules were followed. And to its credit, Eskom says it's taking action, whatever that means, because we know that in state-owned companies, a lot of the times people are not held accountable for wrongdoing.
As Dan has said, before we go into the specifics of the results, let's just touch on the audit opinion that Eskom received for FY25. Specifically here, I'll split it between the PFMA audit opinion and then the IFRS opinion from an accounting perspective. So last year we had 3 qualifications from a PFMA perspective: irregular expenditures, losses due to criminal conduct, and fruitless and wasteful expenditures. You will see positive movement in this audit opinion that we resolved the issue around fruitless and wasteful and is no longer qualified. I just want to touch specifically on irregular expenditure. Irregular expenditure incurred in FY 2025 was 1.5 billion rand. And this is split between 2 components: 500 million linked to new transactions for the year, and losses due to criminal conduct. I think that together with law enforcement, that is a bit more of a challenge, but we're working on addressing that issue.
In December 2024, the company launched a 3-year audit recovery program, and apparently its goal was to fix internal controls, clean up documentation, and hopefully earn a clean audit opinion in the coming years. The plan is led by the Audit Recovery Oversight Committee, chaired by Eskom's Group Chief Executive. They're strengthening governance, improving compliance systems, and even investing in digital record-keeping tools. Eskom claims that 90% of external audit findings since 2021 have been addressed, but final verification is still pending. They've also created a group investigations and security unit to deal with fraud and corruption, working alongside the ethics office and internal audit. These sound like the right steps, but South Africans have heard promises before. The question remains, will these reforms lead to real accountability, or will this be another internal cleanup that never reaches the roots of the problem? We all know that Eskom isn't just any company. It's the backbone of the South African economy. When its finances are questionable, it affects everything from investor confidence to government credibility. And when billions of rands are misstated, it raises the same old question: who is actually watching the money? But for now, Eskom says it's rebuilding trust. But trust actually isn't built on audits. It's built on results. I think we've heard enough as a country. At this point, as South Africans, we should be watching closely to see if those promised reforms translate into real transparency and real change. Do subscribe to the channel. We'll be breaking down the stories that matter.